Jai Sriman Narayan.
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 I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to the Purvar Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to the 12 Alwars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi, and I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you here physically at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. A special welcome to all our ancestors that are currently released into our earthly planet in this 16 days. I'm sure many of you experienced a lot of pressure yesterday in our atmosphere, and this pressure is not seasonal. It happens on the first day of every Pitru Paksha. And Pitru Paksha is calculated as per the Hindu calendar, not the English calendar. And every first day of Pitru Paksha is a lot of pressure in the atmosphere. And this pressure in the atmosphere is scientific evidence that there is a huge volume of energy. And energy, souls are energy, their consciousness gives off energy, and energy in motion will give off, kinetic energy will formulate into wind, and that's the wind that we have experienced. It's our ancestors. So I want to ask all of you a question. Is Pitru Paksha, the time frame of Pitru Paksha, auspicious or inauspicious? Okay, there's only one person in my Satsang tonight. Auspicious or inauspicious?
Auspicious.
Should we be in mourning or should we be in celebration? Should this be a dark period or a bright period?
Right.
A very bright period. There should be happiness in every home. There should be celebrations, there should be energy, because our ancestors have come to visit. And when you have visitors, you must be busy in the kitchen, Sita. And Sita would have spoken to quite a few Pitru Paksha. Pitrus from all our descendants would have given Sita a message. She's everyone talks to Sita. Alright, Sita, did they tell you anything? I had a jolly old conversation with Sita. Yeah? On the serious side, I want to explain Pitru Paksha and the Sri Sampradaya. The Sri Sampradaya is eternal. Eternal means it has no beginning, no middle, and no end. But cyclically, it reinvents itself. Cyclically, it reinvents itself. And the very first reinvention at the beginning of Kali Yuga, end of Dwapara Yuga, was the advent of the 12 Alwars. The very first Alwars came from Dwapara Yuga into Kali Yuga. First three Alwars came from Dwapara Yuga into Kali Yuga. These Alwars are pure devotees of Lord Sriman Narayan. Absolutely pure devotees of Lord Sriman Narayan. They are 12 in number, and they were all born in South India. They were all born in South India. All 12 Alwars were born in South India from the end of Dwapara Yuga coming into Kali Yuga. Lord Sriman Narayan, one of his attributes is the knowledge called Vedas. One of his attribute is the knowledge called the Vedas. These 12 Alvars variously and numerously throughout their lifetime sang the Vedas, which was originally spoken in Sanskrit. They sang it in Tamil. I want you to understand very, very carefully. The Vedas compiled in Sanskrit, spoken in Sanskrit, and sung in Tamil. Confluence of two languages. Confluence of two languages, Sanskrit from the north and Tamil from the south. Simultaneously. Alright, Tamil is not a language that Dhana in the back there people might think invented. This language is coming from since time immemorial. First found in South India, spoken by South Indians. So the 12 Alvars, pure devotees of Lord Sriman Narayan, to appease the masses, sang the Vedic injunctions and formulated the Vedic injunctions as poems without changing the injunctions, not even by 1 millimeter. I want you to understand this carefully. So these poems that they sang in their own expression of love and joy, they sang in essence the Vedic injunctions. They sang in essence the Vedic injunctions. 1,000 years ago, this information was in total disarray. This information was in total disarray. And Lord Sri Ramanuj took his birth to synthesize perfectly Tamil, the Tamil Vedas and the Sanskrit Vedas. The Tamil Vedas and the Sanskrit Vedas. The Tamil Vedas are the 4,000 hymns that these 12 Alvars sang, which is the content of the Vedic injunctions. And Lord Sri Ramanuj perfectly synthesized the Vedic injunctions with the 4,000 hymns sung by the 12 Alvars. The Sri Narayan Dham, does not express any view of North India or South India. Sri Narayan Dham expresses the view of Lord Sri Ramanuj, who expresses the view of Lord Sriman Narayan. Is that understood? So whatever you learn here, there is no north and no south. No north and no south. It is a combination of both. It is a perfect synthesized combination of both. Lord Sri Ramanuj took over 60 years of his life harmonizing the perfection of the Vedas with the "4,000 hymns called the Divya Pradhanams." So I want you to, as a basis, to understand that this satsang is not a Hindu-based satsang or a Tamil-based satsang. It is the best of. Have you bought Albany bread anytime, Sean? Where you got white bread, then you got brown bread, then you got a bread in between the white bread and the brown bread. That bread in between the white bread and the brown bread is called best of. Okay? So, timelessly we need to make everyone feel comfortable in the satsang. And I've asked Dana, who sings all the time, 24 hours a day, to sing South Indian bhajans. Our late Ravi was our last South Indian singer. And as for our 16-year-old boya, I don't know where he Dana. He's still in Joburg. Alright? So then I think between Sherwin and Mataji, we need to make sure that a South Indian bhajan or bhajans is sang equally. Alright? And I don't think it's fair because they are North Indians and there's enough South Indians there. Alright? So, whilst we want to be equal in all what we do, if I catch you from the south, I'll bring you in the front. Okay? Everything is understood, well understood. Vasan, start learning a bhajan. Alright? Stop chasing money. Give God a few minutes of your time. Give God a few minutes of your time. Okay, we established that this satsang is not run on a view or a culture or a tradition. This satsang is run as per Vedic injunctions under the auspices of our middle guru, Lord Sri Ramanuj, our first guru, Lord Sriman Narayan, and our last guru, my guru, Swami Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. When things get too complicated for me, then I get back to basics. And the basics is follow your connected guru. So when I do not understand, then I just do what Guruji did. Alright? Because that is the Vedic injunction. Surrender to your guru, follow your guru 100%. Don't worry too much about intricacies. Alright? But at the level we are, and in expounding these truths, not only to you physically as a Sri Narayan Dham, it goes around the world because we use the platform that is available to us. Instead of me flying around the world, I let the pixels and voice notes fly around. Alright? I want to make you understand that it is very, very important, absolutely important, to attend satsang and also to live within the prescriptions of the Guru. It is for your benefit. It is for your benefit that you make a change in your life. It is absolutely donkey behavior. Have you all had an opportunity to see our two donkeys in the back at the ashram? It is futile to be like the two donkeys. Do you think they'll ever change their behavior? Although they're living in ashram. Shyam. And I got them here for a reason. I want you all to identify with the Guru or identify with the donkeys. Then I got a male donkey and a female donkey. So you all can't say I'm biased. And you all need to know in which satsang you are, in the Guru satsang or the donkey satsang. Alright? Because the donkey will do the same thing every morning. It will come up top, it will eat its food, it will drink its water, then it will go down, it will sit in the shade. Okay? It won't change. This pattern will continue. So what you doing at home and when you come to satsang and then you go back home and you do the same thing, what's the difference between you and our two donkeys? Any difference? So I can call one of the donkeys Nilendri and call Nilendri donkey. Any difference, Jessica? All of you understand? So when you come to satsang, you must take something from the satsang home. And you must discuss this topic with your husband, wife, brother, sister, daughter, Nilendri. You have a daughter, beautiful daughter. Alright? Sit and discuss this thing with your daughter instead of screaming why your room is so dirty. Take a few of the Guru's topics and you and your daughter sit and discuss. If you all do not come to a reasonable conclusion, phone Vasudeva. Aside from making money, I'm sure he got some time to give an explanation, alright? Making money is a good, not a bad, chasing money, instead of chasing money, alright? Vishwadhar must be smiling from ear to ear. Even his beard must be smiling. Alright? So you must take something from satsang. You can't take all. It took me 5 years to change 5 big things. 5 years to change 5 big things. 2008 I met Guruji. 2013 I took the final plunge. 5 years. Alright? But I made sure each change I make, I stood with my change. No matter come hell, no matter whatever storms came through, I made one change and I stood with it. Then I made another small change and I stood with it. And my 5th change was to stop eating meat. 3 days before Guru Purnima in India 2013. Okay? And I went through this life. so that I can explain to you seated here that you rather take your time and make one solid change. Then I had couple hundreds of devotees, and they made a huge change from this end to that end, and then the change overwhelmed them, and they are no longer here. So don't do the change to show your wife, don't do the change to show your husband, don't do the change to show your guru. Do the change devotionally for who? For yourself. Alright, the youngest devotee of mine has all the answers. Alright? Do the change for your. When you do the change for yourself, those that are surrounding you will change automatically. Alright, Jessica? What you must do?
Change yourself.
Okay. Change yourself. Alright? Only yourself. Then only who you must change? Only yourself. If Tiveshni's room is not clean, go and clean it. If you keep cleaning Tiveshni's room and reminding her that your room is filthy, you'll grow up a filthy girl, what will happen to Tiveshni? What will happen to Tiveshni? She'll start learning to clean her own room. And Tiveshni's room has come into my satsang how many times now, Tiveshni? Even in Pitru Paksha, the room has landed here. Alright? So, if you continue persisting, lead by example. Lead by example. All of you. Lead by example. And small examples. Very small examples. Miniature examples, Sean. Alright? Then it will be profitable to come to satsang. Because coming to satsang, you have to rush from work. Let's start where satsang starts. Start from work. You have to rush from work. You have to rush home. You have to have a quick bath. And then you have to come all the way from wherever you are coming here. So how much of stress it was on you? Quite a bit. And then your wear and tear, your petrol, there is a cost. Isn't there a cost? Then from here you're going to go back home. There is another cost. If you do not use this visitation and this knowledge that the Guru gives you, and it is impossible to use all the knowledge at the same time. At every satsang, take one small sliver of knowledge, inject it in your thought process, and try to live that which the Guru gave you. I lived 50 years in Reservoir. How long? 50 years in Reservoir. How many people from Reservoir is here? Just 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright? All of you are coming from far out. You understand? Because satsang is not for everybody. Satsang is not for everybody. But then do not come to satsang and get complacent. Come to satsang, take this opportunity and uplift yourself. Firstly you, then your unit, then your external unit. Like where's Roshbai? Yeah, what Roshbai has done. He came, he enjoyed the satsang. Like a breado, he brought his whole family. You want a definition of a breado? Rosh. I think he must have told them free lunch on a Sunday, free supper on a Thursday. I don't think Ross could have told them that hey, the top guru there, he teaches spiritual science, his discourses are top, so I don't think he's a brave. Yes, ciao. Right? Goes by? Okay? So, you need to take what the guru teach. Because I meditate in my kuti. And sometimes I really think if I'm wasting my time seated here. It's gone 7 years now, you know. And I spent thousands and thousands of hours on you. Whoever come to me, I have not short-circuited your time. Alright? And if you have a diary and a time, come in my kutir, write what time you came and sat, write what time you phoned me, okay? How many WhatsApp you sent me. I have not short-circuited anyone. I embrace everyone to the full extent. I give you my best. But I hear you screaming and fighting at home. Seriously. And I think so many discourses where am I failing? And I chose this topic today because I want your ancestors to see how hard you are. How hard you are, Tivashni. And they must witness. And maybe they will grace you and bless you that if you only follow 10% of my total teaching, you will become a perfect human being. And this is why you have been awarded this human body. This human body has been awarded to you so that you meet your Guru, take instruction from your Guru, and live within the lines of your Guru. Don't come in your next lifetime like goats and donkeys in my next ashram. See these goats and donkeys and fish and plants and trees that's in this ashram? There were devotees like you who didn't listen. Shyam is smiling. Shyam, I don't want to see you and your wife in the next ashram as a donkey example that I'm going to give to the next set of devotees. Go home and practice what the Guru is teaching. And this is absolutely serious. This is absolutely serious. You need to give your Guru some happiness, don't you think? And the only thing that you can give your Guru, and your Guru gets happy, is if you follow the Guru's instructions. That's why you can fill your horse and trailer with dollars and offload it here at ashram. It means nothing to the Guru. You can bring gold, diamond. It means absolutely nothing to the Guru. It's just like, it's equivalent to sand. But if you change and mend your ways, if you change and mend your ways, little at a time, not too much. One sip, if you drink your water one sip at a time, what will happen? You quench your thirst and you'll be satisfied with the water. Yes? And if you gulp your water down, like how Vasan used to gulp his whiskey down, what will happen? You choke, you spurt out the water, a whole lot of things will happen with us. So take the Guru's knowledge, little bit, and help each other, especially husbands and wives. This is where the biggest problems are. Alright? Especially husbands and wives, children in the Satsang. Take little at a time and change the mindset. Change the mindset. Okay? So when I read a verse from the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord gives me the verse in your presence. Doesn't he? Where do I open the Bhagavad Gita? Here. Not in my kutir. And even if I open the Bhagavad Gita in my kutir, when I come here, everything is changed. Okay? I do not prepare discourses. When I sit here, the Lord impels me to give a particular discourse. And I give it to you as it comes to me. Fresh from the oven. I hope my box of cakes is in the kitchen. And so the cakes are not worried about Pitru Paksha, Puja, Uj, Gotra, Yuva, as long as my sponge is there. Alright? So I want to explain that Lord Sri Krishna and Arjuna, take them seriously. They're not a figment of some writer's fantasy. This is history. It really happened. And God Himself spent 120 years on this earth, Lord Sri Krishna, to show you and me how to live on this planet Earth. Just in 700 verses, I keep saying this, He condensed the entire Vedic knowledge in 700 verses. Take these 700 verses as gospel. Take it as absolute. When I read these verses, drink it with your ears. Drink it with your ears. Take it in, assimilate it, and slowly try to live it. So Arjuna, he took the role of a confused human in Sanatana Dharma. Arjuna took the role of a confused human in Sanatana Dharma. He represents all of us. Arjuna represents all of us. And Lord Sri Krishna represents the Guru. Arjuna represents the disciple. Lord Sri Krishna represents the Guru. The disciple is always confused but can get clarification from the Guru by asking relevant questions. So, Arjuna, chapter 17, and the heading is the three aspects of faith. Arjuna said, verse 1, now what, O Krishna, is the position or basis of those who leave aside the injunctions of the Shastra yet worship with faith? Is it Sattva, Rajas, or Tamas? So Arjuna is asking Lord Sri Krishna that if someone worships with faith, that which is not in the scriptures, what is the position of such a person? So you can have faith, you can perform a particular worship, But if you perform that worship with absolute purity and absolute faith, if it is not a Vedic injunction, what is the position of such a person? You think this question is relevant by Arjuna? Remember, Arjuna is Lord Krishna's best friend. Now he is asking Lord Sri Krishna a question. Is it relevant in all our lives? Is it relevant in all our lives? Is this question relevant in every life? That if you worship with faith, but not through the injunctions of Scripture, what is the position of such a person? Okay? And let's see what the Lord has to say. The Lord said, verse 2, threefold is the faith of embodied beings, comma, born of their own nature, comma, constituted of sattva, rajas, and tamas. Listen now about it. So this is not the Guru saying anything. The Lord is saying now that the faith of everyone is impelled by three dimensions: absolute purity, passion, and ignorance. Absolute purity, passion, and ignorance. Verse 3, the Lord is explaining in verse 3, the faith of everyone, comma, O Arjuna, is in accordance with his internal organ. Full stop. Man consists of faith. Whatever his faith is, that verily is he. Verse 4, the Sattvika types worship the gods. The Rajasa types worship the Yakshas and the Rakshas. And the others, comma, the Tamasa types worship the departed ancestors and hosts of Pithars. I want you to understand, I want to read this verse again. And I want you to understand, this is what the Lord is stating, not what the Guru is stating. The Sattvika types worships the gods, full stop. The Rajasa types worships the Yakshas and Rakshas, full stop. And the others, the Tamasa types worship the departed ancestors and the hosts of Buddhas. Now, I gave a discourse last week, Thursday. No, on Sunday. And I said, the worship through Pitru Paksha is a Vedic injunction. And today, on Thursday, I'm stating, if you worship your ancestors, then you are in Tamo. Am I contradicting myself? No. I'm clarifying. I am clarifying my discourse on Sunday. Your ancestral worship, if it is not done in accordance with the scriptural injunctions, if it is not done in accordance with the scriptural injunctions, then it is done in the mode of ignorance. And this is why I came out strongly on this topic. because you belong to this satsang. And my duty is to advise you. And sometimes, because of tradition, this topic becomes sensitive. This topic becomes sensitive. So do I, because the topic becomes sensitive, dilute my discourse to suit the sensitivity, or do I give it to you as it is? As it is. All of you understand? So you have to decide. For every other thing in this world, there is a law. Is it not? And I've stated this before. When you get up in the morning, there is a law for your bathroom. Everyone knows who's number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. There is a law. There is a law when you start your car. There is a law when you are on the road. So every day of your life, you are under some regulative principle, isn't it? So you are trained to follow injunctions, aren't you? But ironically, the only injunctions you don't want to follow is the injunctions of your Creator. You understand how difficult this is, from? Because when it comes to these injunctions, then you say, I rather follow what my grandfather said, and my grandmother said. But when your grandmother said, don't drink, it is bad for you. Don't smoke, it is bad for you. Don't wear short skirts, it is bad. Don't dress up half naked as a woman and walk in the road, it is bad. Then your grandparents were bad. Isn't? Your grandparents were bad because they told you don't do these things. But when it comes to worship and prayer, then very quickly, my grandparents did it this way, I am going to do it this way. I don't care what that guru is saying. What he knows. You understand the dilemma I am in? All of you? You only choose your grandparents in tradition and culture. If you really listen to your grandparents, where you think you'll be today, Roshma? You understand what I'm saying? We didn't want to listen to a Nani, Nana, Aji, Aja. Who wanted to listen to them? Old fools. Jessica? Old fools. But if somebody asks you why you're doing a particular worship in a particular fashion or manner, then you blame it on the grandparents. We blame it on the grandparents. Okay? So here Lord Sri Krishna is stating that if you worship your ancestors out of Vedic injunctions, then you are worshipping in the category of bhutas. What are bhutas? Ghosts. Okay? So I know, including myself, I'll start from myself. We were not privy to this information. And I myself, Mataji, we did it wrong. But when we became privy to this information, we changed our life, so much so that we decided this information is not only enough for us, we want everyone else to have it. And hence, we relinquished our material life so that today we can sit on this platform and give you this information free of charge, so that you can understand the significance of the appearance of Lord Sriman Narayan on this earth. He appeared so that you can get this verse in this Pitru Paksha, which was relevant 5,000 years ago and which is relevant today. That do your Pitru Paksha puja as per Vedic injunctions. If you don't, then he is explaining that you are doing it in the same dimension as worshipping spirits and ghosts. All of you understand? This is not me. I didn't write the Bhagavad Gita. My Creator did. My Creator. He spoke and he also compiled the Bhagavad Gita, so that I can give this information over to you. Okay, so I went past my time because I also want to satisfy our ancestors that are present here in this satsang today, because there are no satsangs in Pithars. And I'm sure when they go back at the end of the 16 days, they'll be happy that all of us were present in this satsang to hear this discourse. Our parents, my mom and dad, my grandparents from both sides, and their parents, and all, for all of you as well. Get into memory, think who's late, who's not here today, in this physical form, but who's here as a Pitr, and think how happy they'll be if you change. If you change so that you can address them as God wants you to address them. Jai Sriman Narayan.